We have another special treat here. For the first time, we have a young man who lives at Citra, who works at Lowell Prison, and who writes most of his material about convict labor and so forth and so on. And two of our tried and true musicians are going to back him up. Let's welcome Richard Markle of Citra, Florida. Richard, please introduce your friends.
I sure will. Can y'all hear me out there? I'm Richard Whitey Markle, and like she said, we're from down around Melrose, Citra, and Gainesville. And we're going to sing some convict songs. Trying to get this sound system set up right now. I made a tape for an audition about 3 weeks ago and sent it up here, and they really loved it. And they wrote me a beautiful letter telling me how great it was. And I had failed to tell them who was playing with me on that tape. So when I got here, they asked me again who was on the tape, and here they are right here. The first one over here on my right is Dave Gancars. Y'all probably already know him. On my immediate right is Tom Staley playing a standard guitar. Over here on my left, y'all know him. He's the professor of the banjo and the auto harp, Marty Schumann. So we're going to do 3 songs that we hope will show you some of the lore that's been created in the state prisons in the state of Florida. The first song we're going to do, as soon as we find out if these instruments are tuned, is one called Rabbit Fever, and that it always hits a convict when he first gets to a minimum security prison or somewhere where there's a low fence. He gets the idea that he might want to go home, and it's a hard thing to resist. It come to me one night in the middle of the night, and here's how it went.
To the hack, said hack, put me in the box. Went to the hack, said hack, put me in the box. Went to the hack, said put me in the box. I'm so tired of digging and picking your rock. Went to the hack, said hack, put me in the box. I'm so tired of working, this chain gang is getting old. So tired of working, this chain gang is getting old. So tired of working and it's getting old. Gonna get myself a bush parole. So tired of working, this chain gang is getting old.
here's what the hack says.
Don't worry about a thing. The hack said, boy, don't you worry about a thing. Can't show off. The hack said, boy, don't you worry about a thing. Just get up in the morning when that ding-dong rings. The hack said, boy, don't you worry about a thing. The hound's in the house, sleeping like a log. The hound's in the house, sleeping like a log. The hound's in the house, sleeping like a log. Tomorrow he'll be working like a dog. The hound's in the house, sleeping like a log. Woke up last night, rabbit fever on my mind. Woke up last night, rabbit fever on my mind. Woke up last night, rabbit fever on my mind. Got to leave this prison behind. Woke up last night, rabbit fever on my mind.
Old rabbit fever.
My name's Pete Gallagher.
I'm Bobby Hicks, and we're being real mellow today. Our special guest
is Whitey Markle right over here.
the professor of the boiled peanuts.
Whitey Markle, live in the studio this morning, folks. This is a great honor for us. Whitey, step up to the mic there and
George Washington Carver didn't. He might have written the book on 1,000 things to do with peanuts, but he definitely could add on to it. We could have the sequel to George Washington.
Well,
Carver's
you know
book.
what? I'm going to talk about something versatile today whenever the time comes, and that's the mullet. They're great smoked.
Yeah, what, tarpon?
Yeah.
Too bony.
But great smoked.
But they are. It's kind of like a giant herring.
Yeah, it's like a gar. You got to chop them with an axe.
Well, Whitey, now that we've opened the door into fishing here, tell us about mullet, because mullet are important.
All right, it's going to take a few minutes, but basically there's, it's the bottom of the food chain. And
But everything eats it.
that's right. It's the bottom of the food chain. Everybody loves it because it's vegetarian fish. It eats that scum off the oysters. That's what it eats. And but I was going to tell you, there's 4 ways to cook a mullet. One is fry it. There's nothing like a fried mullet.
If it's fresh.
Well, there you go.
Or you took care of them.
I'm always eating fresh.
I know that.
And second is smoke, which we did 100 pounds there last weekend. The third way, an old feller told me, there's nothing like a baked mullet.
I can see that.
And basically, that's how you cook them up. Oh, and the fourth way is the gas and oil method.
Gas and oil?
That's right. I knew you'd ask me that. I was hoping you would say exactly that. One time I had garbage men out there on an island with me off of Shell Mound.
All right.
And I was slaying the mullet. I had probably 20, 30 nice ones in the cooler. Why, I got to eat one of them. I said, well, how you going to cook it, John? And he said, well, I'll cook it. And it had been raining, man. There's a bunch of wet cedar laying all around. And he split a beer can. He split that mullet. No salt, no nothing. And he laid that mullet out on that beer can. And he tried to start lighting that wet cedar. Tried to start lighting it. He messed around there 10 minutes. And he's getting hungrier as time went by. Finally, he grabbed the damn kicker off the outboard motor and dumped that gas and oil on that red cedar, on that wet cedar. And he lit it and put that mullet on that beer can down on it. It might have burned a total of 60 seconds.
Whoa.
And he picked that mullet up and ate it right there.
Well, when you're hungry.
That's the fourth method, the gas and oil method.
Well, now, I'll tell you a pretty good way, and it's not smoked. It is a little different. Now, I know up in your neck of the woods, when y'all smoke mullet, you don't butterfly them.
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
And every one I ever ate there was like chunks. It was the whole.
No, I split it.
Okay, well, you split a mullet, you lay it out on the grill, and just start cooking it slow, and about when you start seeing the meat, start to change color, then start brushing with a little, little barbecue sauce,
Yeah.
and a barbecued mullet.
Good that way. Mighty
Yeah,
good.
they are. I've never really found a way I didn't like mullet. And I do like smoked mullet to peel them off, clean all the meat out and make that good spread out of it.
Well, he had mullet sushi that day. I don't think he knew it, but that's what he had. It's real simple. Take the peanuts, boil them. Actually, here's the deal. Boil them for exactly 1 hour in salt, and make sure you put a lot of salt in there. After 1 hour, shut them off, let it steep for about an hour, and you've got the best boiled peanuts in the world. Make sure you buy fresh peanuts. That's it.
Yeah. Whitey, give us a recipe. What do you got?
All right, this is a basic cooking tip. Okay, don't overdo it. Now, let me explain myself. When you're doing peanuts, people from up north, we call them Yankees, they don't even know what a peanut is. But they want to know what you put in it, what do you cook it with? And of course, they expect you to give them some exotic Cajun-fied recipe. You know what you use to boil peanuts? Salt.
Salt.
That's it. All right. Now, smoked mullet, same trip. Nobody can understand it. Red pepper and salt. That's it. That's all you put on it. And there's no other way to do it.
Is there anything else in your cookbook? Whitey Markle has a cookbook of Florida recipes.
I want to hear the recipe for boiled peanut pie. Didn't we promise that?
Right. Well, I was going to elaborate a little on the peanuts, and there's
Go
nothing
ahead and read that recipe. And
all right. You take the boiled peanuts, and they got to be boiled when you make the pie because they got to be soft. And you shuck out a couple of cupfuls. All right, bake the pie shell about 10 minutes, get a little crispy, right? Then you're going to mix eggs, cane syrup, brown sugar, butter. You're going to mix all that in with the peanuts, pour it in that pie shell.
Now, we mashing these peanuts before we put them in there?
No. That ruins the ambiance.
Okay.
All right, no. You want to see this is a boiled peanut pie. It's a beautiful thing to observe. I had one here last year, remember?
I know you did.
Yeah, fine-looking piece. Nobody wants to eat it. It's so pretty.
We ate it.
I know, but it's almost a sin to cut through that thing, you know what I mean?
But it was good.
It was delicious. But that's what you do. And you bake it about 55 minutes at 350.
I'll tell you what. Next to Southern pecan is my favorite pie.
It's got the salt on the nuts. That's what I like to say. You get that salt with that brown sugar.
And the sweet, the saltness and the sweet.
Yep.
It's kind of like those little oysters you used to be able to get up there at Apalachicola. Right. They're kind of sweet and salty at the same time. Yep. Just good Florida stuff. Huh?
Coon oysters. Mighty good
Whitey,
stuff.
we're sure glad you come down here.
Now, what do you got, Whitey? People are ready out there in radio land.
Well, probably the most notorious recipe in the book, the one that really sells it, is the lake lobster.
Lake lobster.
Lake lobster, that's right. You take a gar, which nobody knows how to clean. Put him on a hard board, get a broad axe, chop him into about 6-inch lengths, then take your fillet knife, cut them back straps out the long way, pull them out with the skin and pliers, and you have, ladies and gentlemen, a boneless lobster fillet. Heat up the butter, light the candle, steam it about 10 minutes, and get romantic, because you got pure lake lobster there. That's it.
Now, Whitey's got a CD that we play quite a bit here on this station called Cracker Blue, and it's got 10 or 12 songs. It's one of those top 10 Florida folk CDs where every single song on there is good. You can pick it up and put it.
Well, then play a couple of them.
I think we will.
Could I request something?
Yeah.
What you cooking?
What you cooking? Let's see if we can.
Onions and those whippoorwill peas, daddle pepper in the soup that I see. Did you fry us a little mullet, you sweet little thing? I just can't wait for your dinner bell to ring, 'cause I know how good that it feels to eat the till full of one of your home-cooked meals. I know you know the things that you do. Keep me coming back to spend more time with you. you know food like this is fit for a king, 'cause you know I know how good that it feels to eat until I'm full of one of your home-cooked meals. I know you know the things that you do keep me coming back to spend more time with you. Cornbread really turned me on. Your pancakes and your marmalade are the best I've ever known. I've never seen a butter bean that tastes as good as yours. If a Frenchman was to eat one, he'd be hollering bonjour. You know I know how good that it feels to eat till I'm full of one of your home-cooked meals. I know you know the things that you do keep me coming back to spend more time with you. Yeah, I know you know the things that you do keep me coming back to spend more time with you. What you cooking, baby?
I'm working on an article for the Florida Humanities magazine about cracker music, and I went down and had a big talk with Frank Thomas. I figured if you're looking into cracker
Absolutely.
music, you go down to talk to Frank Thomas to start out, and then of course I've talked to Bobby Hicks all the time. These are people that sing songs about crackers, or in your case, you even have an album called Cracker Blue.
But
what
why
is
do you-
cracker music to you? What is cracker music?
Cracker music would be what the crackers heard here in the folk days.
Pull the mic down. You don't have to sit
Okay,
over
there you go. And you know, I'd say before rock and roll, you know, they heard the Renfro Valley Barn Dance and they heard the Grand Ole Opry. Basically, is what they heard. And they heard stuff out of New Orleans, out of Louisiana, and so. You know, that would be what I thought we would call cracker music before, 1940?
You saying we as Floridians?
The people that lived here originally.
Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you get over there to Plant City, the Johnson brothers, you know, their granddaddy, you know, it was Pop Johnson, you know, and what was it, the Ridge Riders, whatever, old time, what they called old time string band now they'd call it. But
Cush Holston, that kind of.
oh sure, Cush Holston, completely different thing, homemade instruments and everything else. And
who are the when you say cracker music, who are the people that come to mind? I know
Whitey Markle.
Frank Thomas. And
Yeah, but Whitey Markle lived on the shores of Orange Lake for years and years and years without electricity.
My answer would be Will McLean, Bobby Hicks.
Well, Will's the one
Don
that opened the
Drooms.
door. Will's the one that opened the door.
Sure he did. Yeah.
It's a Florida cracker music.
Well, other people were writing songs about Florida. You know, they had the song about the Fenn Highway and Candy Bridge and all this. It just wasn't working.
What else do we want to hear from Whitey today?
No, we don't want to hear anything from Whitey.
What's a good one here to play, Whitey?
East Florida blues. About my friends from the Snow Belt.
All right.
You have friends in the Snow Belt?
I hate to admit it. Some of them are nice. I hate to admit it.
And here's a little bit of the East Florida blues.
Swamp produce.
Thank you very much. The swamp grass for you.
here too. If you know what I mean about East Florida blues. First it was the Tijuana, the Creek and Seminole, and along come the Spaniards and took their bloody toll. Then this place got cracked by with changing history, and along come the road that brought the tourist industry. I've been working on these East Florida blues, got them in the sand in my Dixie County shoe. Everybody's coming here and staying here too, if you know what I mean about these East Florida blues. Well, if you're gonna come here, you gotta know the terms. We ain't all that stupid and we ain't ugly worms. If everything is rosy in your north factory, I'd say Pennsylvania is where you ought to be. I've been working on these East Florida blues, got them in the sand in my Monroe shoe. Everybody's coming here and staying here too, if you know what I mean about these East Florida blues. They say when you're wrong, you ought to do as a role model. The same goes here in Florida for every man and woman. If you don't like our thinking or our African country songs, I'd say up in Michigan is right where you belong. I've been working on these East Florida blues, got them in the sand in my Union County shoes. Everybody's coming here and staying here too, if you know what I mean about East Florida blues. If you know what I mean about East Florida blues. I got them bad. Yeah. This is pretty bad, folks. Alright, this next one, we're going to do one more. This one's called the Cracker Stomp. It's my protest against organized dancing. No wrong way to do the Cracker Stomp. All you gotta do is pick up 1 or 2 feet and drop it back down to the ground and you've done the Cracker Stomp. You can't do it wrong. Don't you know that? Another old cracker boy, far down in the swamp. My little song gonna bring you joy. It's called the Cracker Stomp. Late at night when the moon comes out, I want to ramble and brawl. You start to jumping up and down, and it comes out the Cracker Stomp. Hey, hey, the Cracker Stomp. Down the swamp, my feet start jumping and it comes out the Cracker Stomp. There's one thing you see about my little song, it has no rhythm or rhyme. Like you would show, you can't do it long, cause you do it different every time. The same thing applies to them muddy old feet when they start to dance, sing along. Ain't no right way to do my song.
starts jumping, and comes out the cracker stone. I said my feet start jumping, and comes out the cracker stone. I said my feet start jumping, and comes out the cracker stone. Thank you very much.
Whitey Markle and the Swamp Raiders. Thank you.
I came here in 1963 as a young college student who had flunked out of FSU because I couldn't read. I went to Jacksonville High School and thought I could read, but I couldn't really read. So I came here because Jacksonville didn't have a junior college, and they had one here, and I hitchhiked down here and I took a test, and they said, "You don't know how to read. We'll take your money and we'll give you a 2-hour reading course with credit. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. It happened right here in Columbia." So I was able to sail on through college. So I guess they pulled me out of the ditch here.
In addition to my degrees, I have a bachelor's from Florida State, and I have a master's degree from the University of Florida in urban planning. And that took me about 30 years to get that. And no kidding, it was a long way around there. But in addition to that, I've worked in the environmental community, and first I got in the Sierra Club with my master's degree. I wrote on airboat noise in Alachua County, and it took 15 years of hard work to finally get that airboat ordinance on the ballot, and we won that in 2010, I believe, by 75%. It was overwhelming. So that's my greatest accomplishment, and so I stayed in with the Sierra Club helped me. I figured I'd help them, and I stayed in, and I worked my way up to conservation chair. We're 16 counties. We go from Georgia all the way down to Brooksville, and we go from Cedar Key all the way to East Palatka. So we're a giant group, and we have a lot of issues and a lot of responsibility. But in addition to that, I am also a member of the board of the Silver Springs Alliance, and then I also just got elected to the executive committee of the Florida Springs Council, and that's a great honor. So I have those credentials.
My name is Whitey Markle. I live on the south shore of Orange Lake. Whitey Markle, I'm Sierra Club, obviously, and also a homeowner on the south shore of Orange Lake in Marion County. Good evening, I'm Whitey Markle. I live on the south shore of Orange Lake, and I'm also the membership chairman for your local Sierra Club group. Whitey Markle, I'm a Sierra Club Executive Committee. I'm also a resident of South Orange Lake, Marion County, and we appreciate you letting us cry on your shoulders. One thing I've heard throughout all these meetings is you guys move in around these lakes, you know there's noise, and you complain about it. I've been there since '78, and there was a little bit of airboat noise. There probably were 327s back then. Now they're 510 cubic inch. They're bigger. There are also more of them. They run more frequently, and there are more people living around the lakes, so there are more complaints by the people that live around the lakes. So the issue is growing in regard to the noise. There's more people, and there's more noise, and the boats are bigger, so they're making more noise. I wrote my master's thesis on this issue in 1995. It was called Airboat Noise on Orange Lake, Florida, and I actually got my master's degree in urban planning by writing that terminal project. And I think most of you recall when I came down and sang my airboat song to you. So it's been an issue with me. Several points I'm going to make if my voice will allow me to continue. I wrote my master's thesis on airboat noise in Orange Lake back in the mid-'90s, and I was able to reach several conclusions. One is the average airboat generates about 86 to 90 decibels, which a lot of people don't even know what that means. But your county noise ordinance at night in residential areas is 55. Marion County's noise ordinance at night is 45. So airboats on the average are generating just about twice the level of the county noise ordinances at night. When that airboater, when that frogger is idling out there at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I've been asleep for 6 hours. I'm in my deep part of my sleep, and he's got to move forward 3 more feet, and he doesn't have a good muffler. It sounds like this. I wake up. I can't help but wake up. Then we go into the drop the other shoe theory. When's he going to do it again? So I'm awake for the rest of the night. All right? When's he going to do it again? And that's the problem. The most effective way to deal with airboat noise is the curfew. But I think it should be an all-out ban on airboats, or it should be a nighttime curfew on all Alachua County waters so that you can establish that ordinance. Thank you very much. I would like to ask you to impose a curfew on airboats from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. Thank you very much.
Legislation comes from Tallahassee. This came from the people of Alachua County. Because the illustrious legislature sanctioned the counties on their abilities to control airboat noise, and only airboat noise, the counties were left with the responsibility of putting restrictions on airboats. And so we lost a vote of, we won 3-2, but we lost because the legislature requires counties to vote 4 out of 5 when they're dealing with airboats, and only airboats. So then we had a petition drive. We put it on a local ordinance ballot in Alachua County. We collected over 12,000 petitions, and we won by 56% to 44%. 45,000 people voted for it. So that was pretty good in a right-wing election year. When a lot of students didn't show up to vote, we still got people out and got them to vote. I feel great about it. Biggest thing I've ever done.
All these years I've been writing songs, and some of them are environmental. And one very effective one was the airboat song that I wrote called Song of the Lake. And it says, the osprey, the blue pea, the didapper, and the blackbird is a song only nature can make. And that's in contrast to that. It goes on all night when you're trying to sleep on the edge of Orange Lake. And so that was a great tool. When I first wrote my thesis, I went to my lead professor. I said, what do I do now? He says, go get a law passed. And so I went before the Alachua County Commission and I sang the song. So what a great tool, and they loved it. And they were impressed by the fact that I had the nerve to stand up there and sing that song. But it worked, and so I was able to move on. But it's a great tool in some circumstances.
I quit writing prison tunes because they're not really that popular. They're pretty, but they're not that popular. And I started writing environmental tunes, which is really where my heart is. I wrote this one called The Song of the Lake because I live down there in Orange Lake so far back in the woods that them airboat guys don't know I live there, and they try to drive them in my house. So I wrote this song called Song of the Lake, and it's a beauty.
Oh, you come through the marsh, o'er the reeds and the pads, for the gators and the frogs you explore. But unlike the marsh hog, so silent and peaceful, you invade with a deafening roar. Oh, you sit there and you play with your toy, so fearful its control and its power that you see. You unleash your contraption on this heavenly marshland you never see, the destruction that you read. Mister, won't you shut down that awful machine and listen to the song of the lake? The osprey, the blue pea, dapper, and blackbird, it's a song only nature can make. For 2 million years we've lived by the water without your infernal machine. We caught the sweet fishes, hunted the marshes, and the lake's murky water was clean. So you crashed through the nests of the birds of the marsh with your airboat so fearful and loud. You scare all the critters with your engine so harsh, your invasion should not be allowed. And mister, won't you shut down that awful machine and listen to the song of the lake? The osprey, the blue pea, die dapper, and blackbird, it's a song only nature can make. It's a song only God can make.
It's a pretty one. Thank you. Thank you very much. Wondered how people felt about that. Now I know. Appreciate it.
Pick me out a good cracker song off that CD. Is every song that you write a cracker music? Is it just comes out of you? It's automatically has that cracker sound to it.
Well, now, creosote cemeteries, I'd call that jazz myself.
Okay.
You know, there's some of them.
Well, I thought that was like a waltz.
It is a waltz beat, but the chords are minor. So I don't know.
So the minor has
I
something
did the
to do with
Swanee minor,
Yeah,
too.
I didn't do the music major. You know,
So the minor key has something to do with it, making it cracker or not cracker.
Da, 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 da.
right.
Should we play that song?
Sure, play that.
Yeah, man, it's about the horse farms.
Now, what's it about? Give it a little intro.
About the horse farms. Corporate, you know, the big corporate entities up there that ruined Marion County. That
They
took
connect-
away the hammock, took away the wood, took away the deer, took away the turkey.
To build those big sodded farms.
Yeah.
And so I moved along and I wrote another one about the horse farms. I had a thing about the horse farms displacing the hammocks. And that was a dead loser. It never got any footing, especially in Marion County where I'm from. It got absolutely nowhere. It's called Creosote Cemeteries. A terrible name for a song, and anyway, it got nowhere.
I got one now that you're even going to have to reach further to understand. I live in North Marion County on the south shore of Orange Lake, which is the county line. I don't know if y'all know much about that territory, but the place is getting plumb eat up with these big corporations buying the land up, scraping it off, putting up the creosote fences, and making horse farms. So I wrote this tune about it. Naturally, being a protesting folk singer, I wrote this tune. It's called Creosote Cemeteries.
You ask me why do I cry when eagles scream in the sky, and I know you wonder too why I moaned when the wood ducks flew. I know you just can't understand my love for the water and the land. You'll certainly never know why I'd rather see rattlesnakes grow than stand by and watch as they scrape the smilax, the elm, and the grape, just to throw up those creosote fences, the wrought iron and concrete benches, just to worship those thoroughbred steeds and their creosote cemetery. There once was a time when these steeds provided for working men's needs. They walked and they pushed and they plowed, but not for the big money crowd. They poked out a dogie or two, snake logs with the lumbering crews. They tugged the big guns of the war. These steeds are not needed no more. I won't stand by and watch as they scrape the smilax, the elm, and the grape, just to throw up those creosote fences, the wrought iron and concrete benches, and worship those thoroughbred steeds in their creosote cemeteries. just to worship those thoroughbred steeds in their creosote cemetery. Thank you.
Now this next one is written by a friend of mine who is not here, Bobby Hicks from Tampa. Anybody familiar with Bobby? There's a lot of controversy about the state song. Personally, I think it ought to be way down upon the Swanee River. Thank you very much. And I believe most of the people in the state of Florida believe that. But, you know, we're always in flux, especially in a place like Florida. We're going to be in a flux, right? So we've got to think in terms of flux. But had there been a change, my vote would be for this next tune because it's the Florida story. The Swanee River is what's happening in North Florida. That's our water. And it's going to be sold to the people in South Florida. That's a fact. They're already through debating that fact. So it's going to be sold someday. Bobby Hicks, the Swanee flows deep in my heart. Up in the Georgia pines, the waters first flow down through White Springs, a place we all know. All across Florida, to the Gulf of Mexico, the Swanee flows deep in our hearts. What have we left for the ones we're leaving? Maybe some old stories they won't be believing. Perhaps a few snapshots will start them to grieving for the Swanee that flows deep in our heart. God bless Cousin Thelma, she remembers back when a cleaner, sweeter water still flowed round the bend. To some just a river, but to us an old friend. The Swanee flows deep in our hearts. What have we left for our sons and our daughters? Take lots of pictures, but don't drink the water. Big business calls it profit, us crackers call it slaughter of the Swanee that flows deep in our heart. How I wish I could turn the clocks back before the pollution and the industry stacks, before they mine the phosphate, turn the waters black, the Swanee that flows deep in our heart. What have we left for the ones we're leaving? Maybe some old stories they won't be believing. Perhaps a few snapshots will start them to grieving for the Swanee that flows deep in our heart. The Swanee that flows deep in our heart. Bobby Hicks.
20 years went by, I didn't write any songs. I just didn't have anything to write about. And then I got really involved in the water issues, and I realized that poor old Ocklawaha needed some help. And Karen Allers and the Putnam County Environmental Council happened to be producing an album right when I produced that song, and it was all about water, the whole album. And it's for sale out there on the Putnam County Environmental Council table, and it really is a great collection of Florida water songs, and I gave this to them to put on the album. So it's called The Poor Old Ocklawaha. As we've heard about Rodman Dam all weekend, and this is my baby, it's my favorite subject. We've been pushing it. I watched LBJ blow up the dynamite in Palaca one rainy day in February back in 1964, and I've watched it all along. What a monster it is! What a ridiculous boondoggle it is! And now it's to the point where even the water management districts are saying, and the Forest Service is saying, there is no reason not to breach that dam. And so we're very careful to say, breach the dam. You can keep your dam down, but we want to breach it. We want a hole in that berm so that river can go back to its natural state, uncover those 20 springs, and let them flow natural, good, clean water back out into the ocean.
I wrote this song about the poor old Ocklawaha River, which should have been restored back in 1972 when Richard Nixon deauthorized the barges. But because the bass guys want to go 100 miles an hour across the pool down here in Palaca, it still hasn't been restored. So we hope that someday some legislator will take it by the horns and restore that poor river. There are 20 springs being held back by the headwaters in that pool, which is stagnant, evaporating, and full of algae. So see what you can do with your local river. This is called the poor old Ocklawaha.
Ocklawaha.